All right, so how to start the catering business in Houston, Texas. Well, if you're looking to launch a catering business in Houston, Texas, this video is going to walk you through step by step the top things you need to do in order for you to do it legally. And of course, on a budget. These are going to be for beginners. Now, welcome to How to Start a Catering Business, the YouTube channel. This is all about the business aspects of catering and starting your own catering business. Now, if you're honestly looking at one of the best cities in the country to do it, by the way. Houston is massive. It's incredibly diverse, and there's always something happening, corporate events, there's churches, weddings, private parties, and so on. Houston is not about cooking great food alone. It's actually about doing things in the right order so you don't lose money or fail inspections or get stuck redoing paperwork. So let's walk through this step by step. Now, exactly how I would approach it if I were starting one from scratch in Houston today. Now, first thing I would do is decide the type of catering I'm actually going to start, because this actually affects permits, kitchen requirements, costs, and how fast you can actually make money, believe it or not. Now, are you doing drop-off catering? You're going to do a full service catering, as it's known. That's with staff. You want to do meal prep or weekly delivery, private chef events, or cultural events with specific catering styles. Now, what I would recommend to start with, especially in Houston, is drop-off catering. Corporate lunches, church events, family gatherings. It's lower risk, lets you staff heavy, a lot less people to help out with that. It's easier to price profitably, and you can always expand later, of course, into different types of catering. So let's talk a little bit about the biggest question everyone asks. Now, can you cook from home and cater in Houston? Well, in most cases, unfortunately, it's a no. Not for full meals, at least. Texas requires catering businesses preparing potentially hazardous foods to operate from an approved commercial kitchen. Now, that actually means you'll need the following: a shared commercial kitchen, a commissary kitchen, or a church or community kitchen with approval, and then a restaurant kitchen during off hours. Believe it or not, they sometimes rent them out. You can even use a restaurant. Now, what I would keep in mind here specifically is this: do not buy equipment, branding, or advertising until your kitchen situation is locked in. Your kitchen determines everything else. So next actually would come the legal and the permit side. So this is where people either do it clean or end up frustrated. Now, first, you'll need to set up your business. Most people choose an LLC for their catering business, then get their EIN from the IRS, and then open a business bank account specifically for your catering business. Now, it's very important to understand you want to separate your business accounts from your personal. So that bank account needs to be your specific catering business. Now, I would absolutely separate personal and business finances from day one. That's what I would recommend. It makes taxes, bookkeeping, and other growth issues way, way easier later down the road. Now, for food licensing in Houston specifically, catering businesses in Houston are regulated by Harris County Public Health. Now, you'll need the following: a food establishment permit, a pre-opening inspection, approval of your commercial kitchen, and a compliance with food safety rules and regulations. Now, you'll also need what's known as a certified food manager credential. Now, what I would recommend is becoming the certified manager yourself. It actually makes inspections much smoother and gives you credibility when it has venues and different businesses you're going to do business with. Now, also keep in mind this: Houston venues often require general liability insurance, proof of food permits, sometimes even your commissary agreement, and even your certificate of insurance when you're naming them additionally as the insured. Now, even if the county doesn't require something, venues absolutely can, and they do in most cases. Now, let's talk a little bit, though, about money, because this is where most new caterers get a little bit into trouble. So here's a realistic idea of startup costs in Houston. Your business setup and permits, a few $100s roughly. Commercial kitchen access, typically $400 to maybe $1,500 per month, depending on the use and the different type of equipment they have. Then that brings us to the equipment. Now, anywhere from about $1,000 to maybe $4,000, depending on how simple or advanced you go. Now, packaging and disposals, you're looking at about a few $100s to get started, and insurance, usually several $100s per year, but that's paid monthly, by the way. Majority of insurances for food business like mine, I actually pay mine every month. Now, what I would also keep in mind is transportation. Now, Houston is huge. Fuel, drive time, packaging, and delivery windows all need to be kind of baked in a sense, into your pricing. If you don't account for that, you'll feel busy but broke. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about pricing, because Houston is pretty competitive, and if you underprice, and as is pretty much common, you might be underselling yourself. Now, here's what I would recommend. Do not price like a restaurant. Catering pricing includes food, labor, prep time, packaging, and by the way, transportation, then the setup and all of that. So the reality is you want to take into consideration all of those aspects. Typical Houston catering ranges like this. Corporate drop-off lunches are roughly about $15 to maybe $30 per person. Now, party trays, these are $75 to $250 plus per tray, depending, of course, on what you're making. Weddings and full-service events, you're looking at about $30 to $70 per person, depending on the service. Private chef or specialty event, often hourly or even premium flat rates. Now, what I would keep in mind is this rule. Food costs should stay at about 30% or less of your expenses. Now, if you don't know your food cost, you don't know your profit. Now, let's talk a little bit about Houston catering actually get clients. Now, if I were starting today, I would not rely on ads first. I would focus on relationships. Now, Houston is packed, by the way, with different churches, which have a lot of people, event halls, cultural organizations, apartment complexes, real estate offices even, corporate office parks, or even community centers. Now, what I would do is kind of create one clean catering menu, a PDF, if you will, and start sending it to planners, churches, offices, venues. And then I would follow up. Most caterers don't follow up, and that's kind of where the money is. I would also set up local visibility immediately. I would simple website, maybe like Houston Catering as keywords, a Google business profile, maybe even separate pages for things like corporate catering, wedding catering, and drop-off catering in Houston. Those are very important keywords. Now, let me give you a little bit of a warning. This saves people a lot of pain. Common mistakes I see in Houston catering businesses are this: offering too many items. Many items, menu items are not beneficial. They're actually hurt your business in big ways. Charging too little because you're new, or taking huge events too early that you're not familiar with. Not requiring deposits or not even having clear cancellation policies. Now, underestimating delivery times across the city, these things can really affect. So what I would recommend is starting with a tight menu, clear minimums, deposits on every job, and written policies from day one. Now, here's how I'd personally phase this out. Week 1, finalize your kitchen, your permits, and your business setup. Week 2, build your menu, pricing, and policies. Now, week 3, test your orders, take photos, or get your first reviews. Now, week 4, outreach to churches, offices, venues, or even planners. Then, Houston rewards consistency. So if you show up on time, communicate well, and deliver reliable food, definitely referrals happen faster and faster. So that's a great stepping point and starting point for your Houston catering business. If you got any questions about this, let me know down below, and I'll see you guys in our next video.